no one can ever truly experience the pain of another. Fate reserves a unique suffering for each person. Colleen McCullough, every human being is a closed world where wounds cannot be measured by words or glances from the outside. Pain is not like a garment that others can try on, nor is it a path that two people can walk together completely from beginning to end. Whether family, friends, or soulmates, we can only stand on the sidelines of each other's emotions, listening, empathizing, but never truly suffering in their place. Fate is like a silent carver using different blades to etch into each life. Some hurt from loss, some from loneliness, others carry the quiet pain of dreams that never take shape. It is precisely this difference that creates the depth of a person, making each individual truly unique. When we understand this, we compare less, judge less, and learn to be gentler with one another. We no longer dismiss another's sorrow just because it doesn't resemble our own. This is not meant to sow separation, but rather to awaken tolerance. Knowing no one can bear our pain for us, we learn to be strong. Knowing we cannot fully feel another's pain, we learn respect. And in that very distance, true empathy becomes a warm light. No need to understand everything, just to be there. That is the deeply human beauty of life, helping us live more slowly, more deeply, and more gently amid the unavoidable collisions of fate. First, you must be honest with yourself, as clear-cut as night and day. Only then can you live authentically with others. William Shakespeare, in life, people often find it easy to tell the truth to the world, yet constantly avoid the truth about themselves. We cloak ourselves in layers of safety, pretending to be strong when we're fragile, pretending to be fine when our hearts are in turmoil, pretending to know what we want, even though we're truly lost. That lack of clarity turns the inner self into something murky, like a prolonged twilight, neither day nor fully night. Being honest with oneself requires courage. It means daring to look straight at our flaws, our less than noble desires, the fears we still try to hide. When everything inside is clearly divided, like light and shadow, a person can truly stand firm on their own foundation. Then, we no longer need lies to protect a fragile ego, nor do we need to play someone else to be accepted. Calmness arises from within like a lake stilled after the rain. Only when we understand and accept ourselves does authenticity with others become natural. Someone who isn't true to themselves often carries awkwardness in every relationship because words don't align with feelings and actions don't come from the heart. In contrast, those who live honestly with themselves bring clarity and warmth, making those around them feel at ease. This is not mere moral advice, but a compass for spiritual life. To build lasting relationships, first, build a solid foundation within your own soul. When the light within is clear enough, we not only illuminate ourselves, but also spread authenticity to the world around us. Everyone asks, where am I going? For me, the destination isn't important. It's the journey we take. John Steinbeck. Life is gentle, yet profound, like a winding road through mountains and hills. People often fixate on questions about the future, about achievements, about the final finish line, as if life were a race that must declare winners and losers. We worry about where we'll end up, what position we'll hold, whether we'll make it or not, forgetting that each step we're taking right now is where true living happens. The journey is like a river flowing through many different lands. Some stretches are calm, reflecting a clear blue sky. Others are rapids, crashing against rocks in pain and exhaustion. But it is those very turns that give the river its depth. If we only stare toward the distant sea, we'll miss the flowers along the banks, the quiet sunsets, and the lessons earned through stumbles. In the end, the destination is just a temporary stop. The journey is the series of days we learn to grow, to understand ourselves and life. It helps us feel less burdened by the pressure to succeed, less self-blame when we move slower than others. When we focus on the journey, every experience gains value. Learning from failure, patience, in hardship, small joys along the long road, we realize no step is meaningless if taken with awareness and sincerity. Instead of asking, "Where will I end up?" ask, "How am I living on this path right now?" When we walk fully, sensing, cherishing each moment, then no matter the destination, the journey remains full and memorable. And that is what gives life its deepest meaning. I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning how to sail my ship. Louisa May Alcott. Storms in human life are never just wind and rain at sea. They are sudden upheavals, losses, failures, doubts, and the quiet fears that creep into the heart. Many tremble before a storm even arrives, living in anxiety and avoidance, choosing a different path, not denying the storm, nor fighting it with panic, but calmly learning to master oneself. The ship here is each person's self, with emotions, reason, faith, and will. No one is born knowing how to steer that ship across the vast ocean. We learn through veering off course, painful collisions, moments when we feel we're about to sink. But in the midst of wind and waves, we better understand how heavy or light our helm is, how the rudder turns, and when to furl the sails to slow down. The storm is no longer an enemy, but becomes a strict teacher, helping us forge inner strength. It doesn't promise a calm life without waves, but gives us faith that we can learn, grow, and adapt. When we focus on steering our own ship, we no longer panic over things beyond our control. We understand we can't decide when a storm comes or goes, but we can decide how we face it. Ultimately, the greatest courage is not the absence of fear, but daring to move forward, even knowing tempests may lie ahead. When we trust our own ability to steer, no ocean, however vast, remains frightening, and on that journey, every storm past leaves us with a sturdier ship, a calmer spirit, and a deeper belief that we are capable of continuing to sail. It is of no use to remain lost in dreams and forget to live. J.R.R. Rowling. People need dreams as they need the sky to gaze upon. But if we only keep looking up and forget to look down and walk, we gradually drift away from reality. Beautiful dreams can warm the soul, giving hope and motivation, but when they become a refuge, they unwittingly turn into a cage that imprisons us. Losing oneself in dreams is like standing by a riverbank, imagining the ocean, yet never daring to step into the current. We paint perfect versions of the future, glorious one day scenarios, comforting ourselves that dreaming long enough will somehow make everything take shape. Meanwhile, real life quietly slips by, carrying away small opportunities, simple joys, and lessons only learned through truly living. Too much dreaming leads to procrastination, fear of mistakes, fear of falling, and ultimately, fear of facing ourselves. It doesn't deny the value of dreams, but emphasizes balance. Dreams should be lighthouses, guiding the way, not comfortable chairs where we sit, watching life pass by. Living means daring to step out of safety, daring to try, to fail, to feel both joy and pain. Only in real life do dreams have a chance to touch the ground, to be nourished by sweat, patience, and small actions, dream, but don't forget to live. Let every passing day bear the footprints of presence, effort, and experience. When we truly live, dreams are no longer distant illusions, but gradually take concrete form, built from the most ordinary moments of human life. There is no more time to think about what you don't have. Think about what you can do with what you have. Ernest Hemingway. In life, we easily get caught in the spiral of comparison. Others have this. We lack that. Others move faster. We move slower. Those thoughts quietly drain our energy, letting time pass in regret and self-blame, while reality waits for no one. Dwelling forever on what we lack is like standing in a brightly lit room, yet fixating only on one dark corner. We forget that around us still remain so many things that exist: health, experience, abilities, relationships, or simply a new day to start over. Life doesn't deal anyone a perfect hand, but everyone holds their own unique cards. Value lies not in which cards we hold, but in how we play the hand. A crucial shift in mindset, from scarcity to possibility, from helplessness to action. When we focus on what we can do, even in small steps, we reclaim control over our lives. An ordinary skill can become a foundation. A difficult circumstance can become motivation. A limitation can force us to create in new ways. It is within limits that people learn to be more flexible and stronger. It doesn't deny difficulties or losses, but reminds us that complaining creates no change. Time is fair, yet strict, and every passing moment poses a choice. Continue regretting or start doing. When we stop asking, "Why don't I have this?" and start asking, "What can I do?" life gradually shifts in a different direction. That is the direction of growth, of hope, and of faith that with what we hold today, we can still build a meaningful tomorrow. Fate only aids the brave. J.R.R. It doesn't paint fate as random magic, bestowed without reason, but places fate in close relation to each person's choices and attitude toward life. Courage here isn't the absence of fear, but daring to keep going even while trembling inside, daring to decide when the path ahead is unclear, and daring to take responsibility for one's own life. Life often tests people with unexpected turns. Sometimes opportunity appears fragile, like a thin ray of light in the dark. Only those with enough courage dare believe. It is an exit, the hesitant wait for absolute certainty. But life rarely offers sure answers. It is in the moment of stepping forward, when we choose action over standing still, that fate seems to move as well. Not because fate favors anyone, but because courage opens possibilities that don't exist for the fearful. A strict companion, it won't carry us across the river, but will place stones beneath our feet when it sees us, determined to step into the current. The brave may stumble, may fail, but each time they rise, they gain more experience, more inner strength. Gradually, what once was a challenge becomes a stepping stone, and the seemingly harsh path opens new directions. Don't wait for fate to change before becoming brave. Be brave first to create change. When we live with the spirit of daring to think, dare to act, dare to bear, we are no longer passive before life, and only then does fate, seemingly distant and mysterious, become close, as if quietly standing on our side, supporting the resolute steps on the journey to master ourselves. Just like paths on the earth, in truth, the earth never had paths to begin with. People just keep walking, and a path forms. Louisa, at first, the ground is only a vast expanse, flat and unmarked, with no traces to guide. Paths aren't born on their own, nor do they wait for someone to walk them. They are created by feet that dare to step, by the repetition of persistence and faith that one is heading the right way. In life, too, no one is born with a clear roadmap for the future. We often worry because we don't know where to go, what to do, which path is right. Paths don't need to exist beforehand. They appear after we start walking. Every choice, however small or clumsy, leaves a footprint. When those footprints are repeated with patience and determination, they gradually connect into a trail, a way of life, a unique identity for each person. The image of a path formed by human footsteps brings positive, encouraging energy. It gives us agency over fate, reminding us we don't have to wait for someone to mark the way or give permission. Even if the path starts rough, overgrown, and full of doubt, the very act of walking refines us, helping us understand more clearly who we are and what we want. Detours are not meaningless. They help shape the path ahead. The value of action. Thinking too much without walking, the ground remains just ground. Only when we dare to go, dare to try, dare to continue, even without seeing the end, does the path appear beneath our feet. And one day, looking back, we realize the path we're on is no miracle from outside, but the result of each quiet yet persistent step. It is this that makes each person's life journey meaningful and worth cherishing. No matter how small, a single person can still alter the course of the future. J.R.R. Tolkien. In the vast world, people often feel too insignificant before great events, history, or massive societal shifts. We easily think only the powerful, the great figures, can create change, while we are merely a drop of water, quietly flowing with a predetermined current. But that very thought, unintentionally, diminishes the limitless potential hidden within each person. In reality, the flow of the future is not an unchanging river, but is formed from countless small drops. A kind act today can plant seeds for a chain of goodness tomorrow. A courageous decision, though quiet, can open new paths for oneself and ripple to others. Human history has been turned many times, not by thunderous events, but by very human choices. A timely word, a step against the tide, a will that refuses to yield to circumstance. The idea that even a small person can change the future brings profound, positive encouragement. A person's value lies not in scale, but in impact, like a fragile butterfly's wing that can start a great wind. Every thought, every action helps shape tomorrow. When we live responsibly with our choices, the future is no longer something distant, dictated by fate, but a story being written day by day. It gives each person the awareness that they are not meaningless, not superfluous. In life's vast picture, even from humble beginnings, even with a small voice, we can still make a difference if we are persistent and believe in what we do. And it is from those small people that the future quietly changes course, steadily towards something more humane and beautiful. If you keep hiding your ignorance, no one will ever strike you, and you will never learn anything. Ray Bradbury. This isn't meant to belittle anyone, but to expose a familiar paradox. The fear of ridicule often leads us to pretend we understand, while that very pretense is the greatest barrier on the path to learning. Hiding ignorance doesn't make us wiser. It only keeps us stuck in a safe but narrow shell of the ego. People often fear being struck, not by physical blows, but by judgmental looks, criticism, or the shame of admitting, "I don't know." We stay silent when confused, nod when unclear, and comfort ourselves that it's clever. But knowledge doesn't come from such false silence. It is like light only shining through. When we dare to open the door, Collisions, debates, even criticism are sometimes the necessary nudge to recognize our limits and move beyond them. Intellectual humility, daring to say, "I don't know yet," that is not weakness, but courage. Those who reveal their lack of knowledge are ready to learn, ready to correct, and ready to grow. The blows they receive, if any, are often precious lessons, frank advice, sharp rebuttal, or a necessary failure. Without them, knowledge remains shallow water, not deep enough to reflect the self. To grasp anything, first accept that you are not perfect. When we stop hiding, stop fearing judgment, we open space for progress. Life doesn't reward those who pretend to know, but offers opportunities to those who dare to learn. And it is in those moments of admitting our own ignorance that we gradually touch true wisdom, not from avoidance, but from facing and growing.